All right, but right behind me is the Sierra has officially been rolled out from the house of Tata Motors, and I'm joined by MD Mr. Shailesh Chandra. Thank you so much, Mr. Chandra, for speaking to us at business today. First of all, congratulations. Finally, the icon returns. Finally, we see the car in flesh and blood. Tell us about your first thoughts about the Sierra coming back and what made you get this vehicle into the Indian market at this point of time.
It's an iconic car. We know that it was launched 35 years back. It was ahead of its time. Many of the people who lived in the 90s always dreamt of owning this car. So when we thought of relaunching this car, it came with a, high sense of responsibility first. We used to get a lot of mails in terms of, Revive Sierra. And therefore we thought that there is a emotion. It's just not a car. There's an emotion behind the Sierra. And therefore, when we reimagined Sierra in its modern form, there was this DNA of Sierra that we also want to, OG Sierra that we want to take forward. And you can see in the silhouette of the car, the upright design, boxy design, or the wraparound glass, and the overall airiness and visibility from inside, all have been kept intact and therefore taken forward in this. But at the same time, we also said that when 65% of your customers are less than 35 years old, they would not even know what is OG Sierra. So on one side, the timeless design of Sierra will definitely appeal to them because this will be different than any other car in this segment. You can make 10 cars stand in the mid SUV segment and will say this is different. But you have to also now align to their preferences and taste. So one, that interior was designed with a complete living room experience, which is also the idea which was in the OG Sierra also, where on the rear seat you could feel like you're sitting on a sofa. So the whole experience, the use of material, fabric and all have been executed keeping that in mind. But the tech stack is something which would directly appeal to Gen Y, Gen Z. And you see first car with 5G connectivity or the triple screen infotainment, AR HUD, Dolby Atmos, L2 plus ADAS, pick any of them and you see that this is a feature-loaded car which will very well connect with the Gen Y, Gen Z. And therefore, that is how the whole conceptualization was done. We positioned in the mid SUV segment because this was growing fast, this was growing big in size. The size of the original Sierra was also kind of fitting in this kind of a length. So we just hit the sweet spot, I think, and we have kept the price also quite aggressive.
Coming to the price now, 11.49 lakhs is the starting price. I want to ask you, for the benefit of our viewers, till when is this price going to last? Because a lot of recent launches have announced that they from 1st January the price is going to increase. When does the OG Sierra have the same price band going on?
We'll keep it stable for some time, and you know that every year the price changes. Maybe this will not see the price change because we'll start the deliveries in Jan. So whatever we have announced today will continue from Jan onwards for a certain time period. And after that, depending on how the overall market, from a commodity price perspective or what are the input cost pressure that changes, it will be more dependent on that. It's not a strategy that I announce something today and it is not accessible to the customer tomorrow.
And sir, if I talk about, you just mentioned about commodity prices, input cost pressure, how are they going along right now? Because if we hear about commodity prices, it's of course been volatile for quite a longer time. How is it at your end, sir?
No, we clearly see that it has increased by roughly 1.5% of the revenue in the last one calendar year, if I see. And that is something you would have seen that industry has not been able to pass on. So I think the first opportunity for that may be January, where you'll try to at least partially recover. Rest, we are also trying to engage into cost reduction initiatives. So that is also helping us bring down the cost.
Except the Sierra, do we see some price upward revision in January, sir?
Yes, I think, Q4 you'll see a price increase in the models because that is something which the OEMs have been absorbing so far.
Right. Sir, if I may ask you on the Sierra bit, what about the production, sir? How are you managing the production and what volumes are you anticipating?
So this is going to be produced in, if you remember the Ford factory that we had acquired, it is called Sanand 2 factory now because we already had a factory in Sanand earlier also. So this is a second factory in Sanand. It is going to be made there. The numbers I can't speak, there is a production plan, but I can only hint you that today in the SUV segment, our share is about 16-17%. With Sierra and the promising proposition that it gives, to the customers, this should go to 20-25%.
And when you talk about acquiring a 20-25% position into the SUV market, which is very clogged up, 60-70 products into the market, till what time do you see this market share being acquired, sir?
I don't know. It can be immediate. It can take time. It is also dependent on the volume ramp up, how we'll be able to do, because there are a lot of moving pieces here, because it's a new engine, it's a new factory. We have to ramp up the production from Jan onwards. So it will completely depend on how we stabilize the production, how the demand stabilizes. So taking all into consideration, would not like to risk a guess here right now.
Understood. And if I may also ask you, when would we expect the prices for the next two engines we announced, sir?
It will be announced hopefully in December before the booking starts.
Okay, before we
Before the booking.
Okay, and now moving on to the industry, sir. We seeing that record growth, of course, is happening due to the GST cut. 5% and 17% is what we are looking at in the last 2 months. Do we see a double-digit growth when the December month hits from the calendar year? Do we see a double-digit growth finally?
Yeah, again, I'm basing on the growth rates that you said, September 5%, 17% in October. I'm hoping that November will also be a double-digit growth. So seems that, with the GST change, there is a double-digit growth that might sustain because the consumer sentiments have improved. So I'm hopeful that it will be a double-digit growth in the second half for the industry. And at a year level, it might be around 5%. Because first half was a decline of 1.5%.
Sure. And of course, so many northern India actually grapples under pollution now, and in fact, from the top echelons of the government, there has been a push towards EVs now. What is the EV plan now? Because we see this happening. We see the next one we see another launch happening from the house of Tata Motors in the ICE segment. What about EVs now? Where do we see the next EV happening?
So this is going to come in EV. It will come in the next financial year. So we'll have to wait for the EV.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Chandra, for speaking to. That was Shailesh Chandra speaking to Business Today on what really is upcoming from the house of Tata Motors, and of course how the car would definitely be getting a good market share for Tata Motors as well. The camera person Ashish, Chetan Bhutani in Mumbai for Business Today.